All right, let's go. All right, Tip, what are we going to talk about?
Well, we've been away for a couple of weeks, so let's talk about last night's game. Del and Dad were watching the game, and the Leafs up 2-0, and then
blew it.
They fell asleep.
Fell asleep, and
how if you're if the Bruins were falling asleep, like what do you do? And the Leafs
second and third.
You played second and third lines,
and the fourth line.
Yeah.
And boy, they stir things up.
Yeah. Did like the guys ever get mad? That
I don't care whether they get mad or not.
Mad's a good thing, I guess, right? When you're falling asleep.
Yeah, they all had bonuses and stuff. But the one thing I laughed at last night was, so they take the captaincy off of Tavares.
Yeah, and he's got to do all the interviews when they lose.
Right.
Every time they lose, he does the interviews.
Right.
Marchand said, "I'm not doing the interviews."
Yeah, Matthews said, "Screw it, I'm not doing it."
Yeah.
Like what's like Tavares? What is this? Like part of the thing was he probably went, take the job. I don't have to do the interviews.
Yeah. And he's still doing the interviews.
Right. Yeah. That's I always thought that was funny. And then the other thing, I felt so sorry for Rick Tocchet, and you've been down this road. Outshoot 39-12 and lose 5-3.
With Hardy after him, we used to do that every game. Every game. I remember one game in Edmonton. We were out shooting them something like 13-7 or something like that, and we're losing 2-0. And just drive you nuts.
Yeah. Like Tocchet, you could say pull the goalie, but he only had
11 shots.
11 shots, and they weren't bad goals on him, but you need to make a save.
Once in a while, make a save. One time I went in in the restroom and I said, "Do you think you're playing well?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You really think you're playing well?" And I knew I was done.
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about that you at Colorado, you had found the goalie, Billy McKenzie, and we lost the game in Pittsburgh that we should have won. And that was the night Hagler and Anafermo fought.
Yeah.
And you bet the whole team that Hagler was going to win.
And I even said a draw.
Yeah.
How stupid I was, a draw.
That it was a draw.
Really?
So
and he took every round.
Right. And then, so we should have won that Pittsburgh game. And then we went into Boston with
Beat Boston.
Beat Boston. Bill McKenzie, but then he
tied Montreal and beat Quebec.
So we're on a roll, but McKenzie hurt his knee.
And first game back, slid right into him.
Yeah, oof. That wrecked Billy McKenzie's knee, and that was it.
That was it for me.
So you want to talk about some of the trades? I say we were gone for a bit.
Marchand couldn't agree with the Boston Bruins in a contract.
I don't get that though. Do you?
There's something funny going on there. Something funny going on in that whole organization.
Like for a second-round pick. The only thing I could think of is this, Dad, is that Sweeney thought that they weren't going to sign him, so I'm going to get something for him.
Yeah.
Even if it's a second-round pick. And you wonder if the Leafs with Marner are thinking like that.
Maybe do the same?
Well, they didn't.
Well, they
tried to.
Yeah.
They tried to. I thought Marchand was you trade your captain for a second-round pick.
For a second-round pick. It's strange. Something strange is going on in that organization.
Since last year, they've changed coaches and either lost a free agency or traded away Marchand, Brandon Carlo, Frederick, DeBrus, Charlie Coyle, Shattenkirk, Van Diemsdijk, Geisel, and then Berezo and Linus Olmark. That's a pretty big turnover.
That is a big turnover for sure. I just don't understand. Something funny going on in that the whole. They'll miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And you remember, you were saying that halfway through the season, and I kept saying, should I put that in the podcast, Dad, that the Bruins are going to miss the playoffs?
You sure you want to say that?
You sure you want to say that? And you said, oh, no, they're not going to make the playoffs this year. And I go, I don't know if I'm going to put that in. So I kind of screwed you by not putting that in. But you said that halfway through the season they weren't going to make the playoffs.
They weren't going to make the playoffs. I don't know. I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Getting rid of all those players.
Yeah.
And they were good too.
Well, you kind of thought that they got the big defense, and you thought Swayman signed the big contract, right? You thought that they were going to make a good. You at least thought they were going to make the playoffs.
No way.
Yeah. So speaking of making the playoffs, Montreal last night.
Oh boy, 4-2.
Yeah.
And they fell asleep. But they did in the shootout. They did in the shootout.
So let me ask you something with Montreal and Ash, and you said you didn't know. Are they that good, or is it a bit of smoke and mirrors right now?
It's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Smoke and mirrors. They're so sky high.
Yeah. Well, you got to give credit to St. Louis then to get them going. Yeah.
St. Louis, he said he's saying something, doing something.
Well, let's hope for Montreal, all first round.
That would be crazy.
That would be great.
Oh, that'd be great. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, or Toronto, Ottawa. Yeah, last night that was a pretty exciting game. So, what do you think the Leafs did?
They got bigger. They're 6'6". They got that Brandon Carlo
from Boston. Yeah.
Yeah, 6'6", and they got Scott Lawton. Yeah. He's a local boy.
Yeah, you went to school with him, right?
I did. I went to high school with him. HT.
Did you go to school with him?
Oh yeah, Holy Trinity in Oakville.
Well, he's having a tough time though, eh?
Yeah. Toronto's not too nice of a market. A week in and they're already calling it.
Yeah, especially for a local kid, right?
Yeah,
Goes 2 games without a point. Lawton's having a tough time.
Yeah. Tough time.
Jeez.
Having a tough time.
Leafs lost last night, and as we say, they fell asleep last night, and I think they outshot Nashville. But they still, they beat the Avs, they beat the Rangers, were outshot. They're 27-10 when they get outshot.
27-10.
27-10, and they're 15-12 when they outshoot the other team. Figure that out.
Yeah, I can't figure it out. Good goaltending,
right?
Yeah.
And that was the big thing at the beginning of the year is the Leafs goaltending any good?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're good, and they are good.
Yeah, they're bailing them out.
You better believe it. George Foreman passed away. I always liked him. And remember the time he fought? Who did he fight?
Moore for the championship. Yeah,
and nobody saw the punch.
Yeah.
And then you saw him he's laying there, all blood.
Yeah, because that was back in the day, Del, where you had to you had to go to an arena or a bar to watch the fight,
yeah?
Right? So we had the bar in Etobicoke, and it was just jammed, and everybody was rooting for George Foreman because this was his comeback. He was selling George Foreman grills before
Seals in the flavor without the fat.
That's right. And I had one.
I had one. Everybody.
He sold 100 million of those.
Oh yeah.
And you didn't see the punch. Right? It was almost, and then Moore went down, and I remember the bar just went silent. Maybe thought, oh, he took a dive.
Yeah, he took a dive.
And then you look, you saw him, blood's pouring out of his mouth, and the eyes rolled back of his head.
Yeah. No way he was getting up.
Yeah. Did you see I watched Rumble in the Jungle with Ali? Did you go to
I saw it.
I read somewhere he said that he thought he was drugged. Yeah, before that fight.
And he was drugged.
It looked like it.
He looked like he was drugged after the fight.
I'll tell a quick story that he was fighting in Las Vegas. He was fighting a guy named Schultz. And I wanted to go see it. So my wife and I were going to go down to... It was easy to get tickets. So we went down and got tickets. And then Mom said, well, who's playing in Vegas? So I said, what shows were playing in Vegas, and I said Tom Jones, and she says I've always wanted to see Tom Jones. So I said okay. So Mom comes down with us, and so the night before the fight, Mom said, You know what? Before the Tom Jones fight, I want to go have a nice dinner. So we go to this nice steakhouse, and guess who walks in? George Foreman.
Really?
Yeah, and was he big. He was huge. So he sat about 3 tables away, and Mom kept saying, go get his autograph, go get his autograph. And I said, no, I'm not getting his autograph, Mom. I'm not getting, no. Get his autograph. You've never asked anybody for an autograph. Go ask for it. I said, no, Mom, I haven't ever asked. So she bugged me so much that I said, all right, I'll go. So I had my ticket, and I went up, and I said, Mr. Foreman, I says, I come from Toronto to see your fight. He was very polite. Oh, thank you very much for your support. And I signed my ticket. I got it framed downstairs. And as soon as I did that,
oh, you outed him.
Everybody.
You opened the gates.
Opened the floodgate. And then what happened was people were bringing, in Vegas, they have photographers at the restaurants, and I felt so bad. And he got up and he left.
He didn't order?
He was eating a little bit of a salad, and then he didn't finish his salad. He got up and left. And I said, Seema, now I feel so bad.
Yeah. But he was such a nice guy.
He was such a good guy. Yeah. But, boy, was he big. So right now, after all the trades, Dad, how about Florida? They pick up Marchand. They pick up Seth Jones.
Loading up.
Yeah, they got. And then how about Ekblom getting 20 games?
Yeah. 20 games for that.
For a banned substance
Yeah.
he supposedly took. But I think, great, come right back just for the playoffs. Kachuk, he's injured, so he'll come back. He's on injured reserve.
They're all injured.
Yeah, Marchand's injured. And what about Edmonton with
McDavid and Draisaitl? They take the week off.
Yeah. Now, they're hurt and they're taking a week off. That's really not a bad thing, is it, going into the playoffs?
No, not. They come to practice. They practice the same. They do everything the same. And
so people in Edmonton shouldn't be panicking.
No, don't panic.
It hurts my fantasy team, though. I got a few of them on my team, and I'm not getting any points for them.
No, they're sitting those guys. Well, who started this was Vegas. Las Vegas did that. All these guys were on injured reserve. Stone, he's on injured reserve, and then.
But you know what gets me though? If I had paid big money for to take you to the game.
Oh yeah.
And they're not playing.
Right. But I think those guys are they're legitimately hurt. They're maybe not as bad as a week, but still.
Yeah. Well, if they were fighting for the playoffs,
they'd probably be playing.
They'd play.
Well, that's the problem they're having in basketball. They call it load management, where
I've heard that.
In the middle of the season, guys will come and just won't play because they just don't feel like playing, and they say, "I need a rest day," and they're saying. Guys are paying $1,000 for courtside seats and take a day off.
And to see those guys, and they don't work hard at all.
They just kind of lollygag up, especially doing the 3-pointers. So Stanley Cup odds, Dad, who would you take? The Florida Panthers now are at 5.5 to 1.
I would have to take them.
Dallas is 6.5 to 1. Oilers are 8 to 1. Avs are 8 to 1. Caps are 8.5 to 1. The Hurricanes, Jets, and Vegas are 10 to 1, and the Leafs are 12 to 1. I'd take a shot at the Leafs at 12 to 1. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I still think the Leafs are going to win. I really do. I really do think they're going to win.
Yeah. They got to get by, but the thing is, they're going to have to get by Florida.
Yeah.
Either the first or second round, they're going to meet Florida.
Yeah. Well, it'll be tough. It'll be tough for them.
Yeah. So, Calgary won again last night. Do you think they're going to make the playoffs?
Yes, I really believe that Calgary's going to make the playoffs. And I really believe they are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, so look out once they get in.
And that goaltender.
Dustin Wolf.
Yeah.
To me, he should be the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. They got Luke Shen and Braden Tanev.
Yeah, the Jets.
Yeah. And they also got Chris Strider and the backup goalie. He probably go in
for the rest of the year.
Do you think they should start resting Hellebuck, though?
I really do. Every year he's lousy in the playoffs.
Right. Well, he's up to 54 games.
Yeah.
So you figure he's going to hit 60 games this year.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He will hit 60 games.
Because, again, when you talked, we looked at your goalies in Boston. Cheevers and Gilbert were, almost 50-50 games.
Jilly played the road games, and
Yeah, Cheevers played all the easier ones. So
I remember Cheevers coming to me and he says, "You're making it too obvious."
I know. So, but you wonder if a guy like Hellebuck, if they sit him a little bit, it might throw him off a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea why he plays so bad in
the playoffs. Not kind of bad.
Yeah, kind of bad.
Awful. He's awful in the playoffs.
Well, but we'll see. We'll see this year. This will be the year.
Because if he plays well, they're going to be tough to beat.
If he plays well.
Yeah.
But he's bailed them out a few times.
Yeah, but he doesn't bail them out in the playoffs. So you think Vancouver? That was a big game yesterday. They lost. They would have put them right into the playoff. They would have been.
You got to give Rick Tocchet a lot of credit, boy.
Yeah,
keep them in the game.
With all the crap that went on with Miller and then Demko in and out.
Yeah. I don't know, Tim. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs or not.